It has been some time since we reviewed a Minisforum Gaming Mini PC. In our Minisforum UM780 XTX review with 7840 HS processor and OcuLink support, we will find out how it performs and compare with other models and some system and gaming benchmarks. First out of the box is the Minisforum UM780 XTX. We will take a closer look at it shortly. Underneath is the user guide, which is in English and Chinese. Next, we have the power supply and cable. We will include the correct plug adapter for your country. There is a HDMI cable to connect to your TV or monitor. Next, there is a base plate and mount to keep your PC on a stand. Following that is a VESA mount and some screws to attach it. Inside the small box is a PCIe to OcuLink port adapter that we will show shortly. And last but not least is an etched sheet with a design that we will also show shortly. The Minisforum UM780 measures around 5.11 by 5.11 by 2.3 inches and weighs around 740 grams. On the front is a 3.5mm headphone port, a USB 4 port and two USB 3.2 Gen 2 ports, followed by the power button. On the back are two additional USB 3.2 Gen 2 ports for peripherals. There is a display port and one additional USB 4 Type-C port. Next is a HDMI port and a space for the OcuLink port, which requires the adapter to be fitted. Next we have two 2.5 gigabit Ethernet ports for fast wide data transfer. The top of the mini PC is attached by magnets and allows you to replace the etched sheet. It comes with a tiger design. There are none other available, but I guess you could get some other designs made up somewhere online. If you are planning to use the UM780 with OcuLink, you will first need to install the adapter. It requires removing the lid, unscrewing the 4 screws holding the LED component, and then you install the adapter into the PCIe slot and screw it down. See our separate guide for the full steps. The Minisforum UM780 comes with the AMD Ryzen 7 7840 HS processor with 8 cores and 16 threads running up to 5.1 GHz. For the graphics, there is the AMD Radeon 780 with 12 cores running up to 2700 MHz. Handheld gaming PC fans will be familiar with the 7840 series, as most of 2023's handhelds were using the Mobile U version. It will be interesting to compare the HS version in this mini PC, which we will check later. For RAM and storage, there are configurations for 16 to 64 gigs of DDR5 RAM and 1 to 4 TB of PCIe 4 SSD. For communications, there is high-speed Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.2, as well as the dual 2.5 gigabit Ethernet ports. In our power consumption test, we got around 11 watts power usage whilst idle on the desktop. The fan noise is barely audible in an average work environment. And while running the Cinebench benchmark, we got a peak power usage of 97 watts. We got a highest fan noise of 62 decibels and highest temperature of 53 degrees. We will start the system benchmarks with Passmark, which performs general system tests including the processor, memory and storage. We got a score of 8136, which is our highest in the tested gaming mini PC category. PCMark is a more day-to-day benchmark series of tests for tasks such as web browsing, working with large office documents, image editing, rendering and so on. We got a score of 10,838, again the highest in our tested systems. 3DMark tests the CPU and GPU working together for its performance. In the Time Spy test we got 3,209, Firestrike 7,585 and for Night Raid we got 29,063. Whilst they're not the highest scores overall, they are the highest for integrated GPU and not using a dedicated GPU such as the NUC-X models. Cinebench tests the CPU single and multi-core performance. For single core we got 1,790 and for multi-core we got 16,682. The scores are the highest we have seen on our tested systems. For the gaming benchmarks, we will be testing at 720, 1080, 1440p and 4K. With the 780M integrated GPU and the GPD G1 eGPU docking station via the OcuLink port. And for comparison, we are also including the Ioneo slide with 7840U benchmark results. For Forza Horizon 5, we are running on the very low graphics settings. On the integrated graphics, we see great scores on 720, 1080 and 1440p, all above 60 FPS. Compared to the other Minisforum models, which have a dedicated GPU, they are decent scores. And with the GPD G1 via OcuLink, we see excellent scores, all in first place. For Shadow of the Tomb Raider, we are running on the lowest graphic settings. We see good scores above 60 FPS for 720 and 1080p on the integrated graphics. We do see mixed results with the GPD G1. At 720p it gets first place, but the higher the resolution, the lower it performs. For Modern Warfare 3, we are running the default minimal graphic settings with no FSR enabled. On the integrated graphics, we get above 60 FPS on 720 and 1080p, which is good. They are noticeably higher than the 7840U counterpart. And with the GPD G1 eGPU connected, we get a massive boost in performance with 60 frames per second at 4K. And to really push the mini PC, we are running the Street Fighter 6 benchmark on the highest graphic settings. At 4K we see very low performance, even with the GPD G1 eGPU. Things improve at 1080p, but we are still below 60 FPS without the G1. The same for 720p. Do keep in mind this is on the highest graphic settings, which is very demanding. We know from the handheld gaming PCs that the 7840U is very impressive for emulation. The Minisforum UM780 XTX can of course run all of the 8 and 16-bit systems just fine, and this continues through to more modern consoles such as the PS1 and PS2. With this era, you can upscale the rendering resolution for improved graphics. Moving on to newer systems, we see excellent performance for the PS3 for example, and with the Yuzu and DROIX emulators there is very good performance. You will get more performance out of this mini PC when compared with the handhelds, so for games where you will not quite hit in full speed emulation, you will likely get it with this. And of course, with an OcuLink and eGPU, you can further increase the performance on the higher end emulators. The Minisforum UM780 XTX is currently the fastest mini PC with integrated graphics we have reviewed right now. We saw from the system benchmarks that the UM780 took first place in all of the tests. While some of these other gaming mini PCs are a bit old now, this is the latest model and the scores clearly show what is best. In the gaming benchmarks, the UM780 did very well. It beats all of the integrated GPU models by a fair margin. It will of course perform lower than models with dedicated GPUs, but add a GPD G1 to balance things and it wins hands down in most cases. The Ryzen 7 7840HS is an impressive processor. As a mini PC for the home or office, it makes your day-to-day workload a breeze. Working with large office documents, image editing etc. are easy going. And whilst off the clock, or simply as a gaming mini PC, we see very good performance with the integrated GPU. Combined with an eGPU, such as the G1, it could transform into a very high-end gaming mini PC, rivaling desktop PCs. The Minisforum UM780 XTX is an excellent choice for a mini PC, whether you're using it for work or gaming or both. The size is excellent, and having the option to have it laid flat on your workspace, on a stand or mounted behind your monitor makes it ideal for any scenario. It is also very portable, easily fitted inside a small bag when travelling for example. There's not much to dislike. I personally find the LED lighting and etch design pointless. It should come with a couple of appropriate designs to choose from, not just a tiger which looks out of place anywhere but in a tiger sanctuary. Thankfully you can switch off the lighting from the BIOS though. But despite the whole lighting and etch design fail, the fact remains that the Minisforum UM780 XTX is an excellent performing mini PC, definitely one you should consider over others. You can learn more about the Minisforum UM780 XTX and order yours today from DROIX.co.uk and DROIX.net for international shipping. Use the discount code UM78050FF for 5% off from the checkout. Thanks for watching our review, we hope you have found it useful. Please like and subscribe if you did, and you can keep up to date with our latest reviews and news from DROIX. Thanks, and we hope to see you back in our next video.